Last year, people spent billions of dollars chasing one single thing: not gold, not gadgets, peace. Sleeping pills, calming apps, expensive vacations, therapy retreats, fancy mattresses, white noise machines. Billions of dollars, and yet most folks still lie awake at 2 in the morning with a racing mind. Now here is the part that should stop you in your tracks. High up in the mountains, far from any pharmacy, any store, any therapist, the old mountain folks sleep like stones, wake up calm, and live out long lives without spending a dime on any of it. They hold the secret to the very peace we spend a fortune chasing, and it is not luck, it is not genetics. It is a set of simple daily habits, things they do with their hands, their fire, their food, and their evenings. In the next 30 minutes, I am going to walk you through those habits one by one, so you can use them in your own home starting tonight. And stay with me to the end, because the last one, the one the mountain elders guard most closely, is a simple evening rule that costs absolutely nothing. And people who try it say it works better than anything they ever bought in a bottle. I will give you that one at the end, step by step. First, let us be honest about why the modern way failed us. We were promised that convenience would give us free time, and free time would give us peace. So we bought the machines, the apps, the subscriptions, and what did we get? More noise, more bills, more screens glowing at midnight. We outsourced everything our grandparents did with their own 2 hands, and somewhere along the way we outsourced our calm right along with it. The old mountain families never made that trade. They lived far from town, sometimes hours from the nearest doctor or store, so they kept the old ways out of pure necessity. And here is the strange gift hidden inside that hard life. The very things they do to survive, the chores, the fire, the simple food, the early nights, turn out to be the exact things that quiet a human mind. Modern science is only now catching up to what every mountain grandmother already knows in her bones. If you believe, like I do, that the old ways were better, and that this knowledge deserves to live on, take 1 second right now and subscribe. Every subscription helps me keep gathering this forgotten wisdom before the last generation that lived it is gone. Now, let us climb the mountain together. The first secret the old mountain folk live by is this: they rise with the light and they lie down with the dark. No alarm screaming at them in a black room, no television glowing until midnight. When the sky brightens, they get up. When the sun goes down, they begin to wind down with it. It sounds almost too simple, but listen to what it does. Your body has an inner clock, and that clock is set by light. The old folks never fight that clock, so their bodies never have to guess when to be awake and when to rest. That is a big part of why they fall asleep fast and wake without grogginess. Here is how you use it at home. For 1 week, open your curtains the moment you wake and let real daylight hit your eyes within the first half hour of your day. Step outside if you can, even just onto the porch with your coffee. Then, in the evening, dim your lights after supper. Lamps instead of overhead bulbs, warm light instead of bright white. You are telling your body the same thing the mountain sky tells theirs. The sun is going down, the day is ending, it is safe to rest. Most people who try this notice a difference within 3 or 4 nights, and it does not cost a single penny. But getting up with the light is only half the trick. What the elders do in that first hour of the morning is where the real magic starts, and that is the second secret. The second secret is that the first hour of the day belongs to the hands, not the head. Think about how most of us start the morning now. Eyes open, phone in hand, and within 90 seconds we have read bad news from 3 continents, 2 arguments between strangers, and a pile of emails demanding things from us. Our heart is racing before our feet even touch the floor. The old mountain folk do the opposite. Their first hour is all hands, stirring the fire, feeding the animals, carrying water, kneading dough, splitting a little kindling. Simple, physical, repetitive work that asks nothing of the mind and gives everything to the body. By the time they sit down to breakfast, they have already moved, already accomplished something real, already warmed up their muscles and settled their thoughts. You can copy this exactly, even in a city apartment. Make a rule that the first hour is hands only. Make the bed slowly and properly. Wash last night's dishes in warm water. Water the plants. Sweep the kitchen floor. Knead a loaf of bread if you bake. The task does not matter. What matters is that your hands move and your screen stays dark. The old folks say a morning of busy hands makes a day of a quiet mind, and they are right. There is real wisdom there. because gentle movement first thing burns off the stress hormones your body naturally releases at dawn. And here is a bonus trick from the mountain kitchens. Keep one small chore reserved just for mornings, something you never do at any other time. It becomes a ritual, and rituals are anchors. Now, the third secret involves something you probably already have in your cupboard, and the way they use it will surprise you. The third secret is the warm cup, held with both hands, drunk slowly, with nothing else going on. Up in the mountains, several times a day, everything stops for a hot drink. Coffee at dawn, herb tea in the afternoon, often mint or chamomile picked and dried by their own hands, hot broth on a cold evening. But here is the part we have lost. They do not drink it while driving, scrolling, or working. They sit down, they wrap both hands around the cup. They feel the heat in their palms, they watch the steam rise, and for 5 or 10 minutes they do nothing else at all. That is it. That is the whole practice. And it works on the body in a way you can actually feel. Warmth in the hands relaxes you. Slow sips force slow breathing. Sitting still for 10 minutes, 2 or 3 times a day, gives the mind little harbors to rest in. People pay good money for meditation apps that teach exactly this, and the mountain grandmothers have been doing it for free their entire lives. Try it tomorrow. Pick one hot drink a day and make a deal with yourself that this cup gets your full attention. No phone on the table, just you, the cup, and the window. If you want to go one step further the old way, grow a pot of mint on your windowsill. It is nearly impossible to kill, it costs a couple of dollars, and a few fresh leaves in hot water make a fine evening tea. The old folks believe a cup of something warm shared in silence does more good than an hour of talk, and after you try it you may agree with them. But peace is not only in the cup, it is also in the room around you, and the fourth secret is about that room, and it will save you real money this winter. The fourth secret is that the old mountain families heat one room and live in it together. They do not try to keep a whole house warm through a mountain winter. That would be a fool's errand and a waste of precious firewood. Instead, the kitchen or the main room becomes the heart of the home. The stove burns there, the cooking happens there, the mending happens there, the talking happens there, and in the coldest months the whole family gathers there from supper until bed. The other rooms stay cool and closed. Now look at what this one habit does. It cuts their fuel use to a fraction of what we burn. It puts the whole family in one warm circle every single evening, instead of scattered into separate rooms, each alone with a separate screen. And it makes the warmth itself feel like an event, something shared, something almost sacred. You can do a gentle version of this at home and watch your heating bill drop. Pick your main living room. Close the doors to rooms you are not using, and close their heating vents or turn down their radiators. Roll a towel or a draft stopper against the gap under the doors. Let the rest of the house ride 10 degrees cooler while your one room stays truly cozy. A thick pair of wool socks and a sweater cover the difference. Families who try this often report saving a noticeable chunk off their winter bills, sometimes hundreds over a season depending on the home. One honest safety note from the mountains. If you heat with wood, a stove, or any kind of fuel heater, never seal a room up tight. Fire needs air, and so do you, so keep proper ventilation and a working carbon monoxide detector. The old folks respect fire precisely because they live with it. And speaking of that stove, the fifth secret is sitting on top of it, simmering away, and it answers a question that stresses modern families every single day. The fifth secret is the one pot. Every day in mountain homes there is one pot doing the work. A soup, a stew, a pot of beans, simmering slow at the back of the stove. Whatever the garden gave, whatever's in the cellar, a bone, a handful of barley, an onion, it all goes in the pot. And that one pot quietly solves a problem that drives modern people half mad, the endless daily question of what is for dinner. Researchers say the average person makes over 200 food decisions a day, and every decision costs a little piece. The old folks make one, the pot. Here is how to bring the one pot home. Pick 2 days a week, say Sunday and Wednesday. On those days, make one big simple pot. A vegetable soup, a bean stew, a chicken and rice pot using the whole bird, bones and all, the way the grandmothers do, because the bones give body and flavor that money cannot buy in a carton. Eat from it for 2 or 3 days. Your grocery bill drops because soup stretches cheap ingredients further than any other cooking on earth. Your evenings calm down because supper is already decided and already made. And your house smells the way a home is supposed to smell. Here is the extra trick from the high country: never throw away vegetable ends. Onion skins, carrot tops, celery bottoms go into a bag in the freezer, and when the bag is full, they boil it into a free broth, strain it, and start the next pot with it. That is flavor and nutrition pulled out of what we scrape into the trash. The old mountain folk waste nothing, and that brings us straight to the sixth secret, because what they do with broken things is the exact opposite of what we do, and it is one of the most calming habits a person can learn. The sixth secret is that they mend instead of replace, and mending itself is the medicine. When a sock wears through in a mountain home, nobody drives an hour to buy new socks. The grandmother takes out her darning needle, sits by the lamp, and weaves the hole closed. When a tool handle cracks, the old man shaves a new one. A torn shirt gets a patch. A wobbly chair gets a new peg of wood and a bit of glue. Now yes, this saves money, real money over a year, because the throwaway habit quietly bleeds hundreds of dollars out of ordinary households. But watch the old folks while they mend, and you will see the deeper secret. Their breathing slows, their shoulders drop. Repair work is slow, focused, useful work with the hands, and that combination settles the human mind like almost nothing else. It is the same reason knitting, whittling, and quilting have lasted for centuries. Here is how to start tonight. Make a mending basket. A shoebox will do. Into it goes anything broken or torn that is worth saving. A needle, strong thread, a few buttons, some glue. Then, once a week, put on some quiet music or just sit by the window and fix one thing. One sock, one loose button, one squeaky hinge with a drop of oil. You will end that hour with something useful in your hands and a calm you did not expect. And there is a quiet pride in it, too, the pride of a person who is not helpless, who does not need to throw money at every small problem. The elders say a person who can mend a thing can mend a day. Hold on to that. Because the seventh secret takes this same idea, being prepared instead of being helpless, and turns it into the most comforting room in the whole house. The seventh secret is the full pantry, because a stocked shelf is a quiet mind. Walk into the cellar or pantry of any old mountain home and you will see rows of glass jars catching the lamplight. Beans, tomatoes, pickles, fruit, jam, sacks of flour, oats, and rice. Onions and potatoes in baskets in the cool and the dark. This is not hoarding. This is the oldest form of peace of mind there is. The old folks live where a storm can close the road for a week, so they keep weeks of food within arm's reach, and because of that, a snowstorm on the radio means nothing to them. No panic. No racing to a stripped grocery store. They look out the window at the falling snow and put another log on the fire. Compare that to the knot so many of us feel in the chest when the news talks about prices or shortages. That knot is what an empty pantry feels like. Here is how you build the mountain pantry slowly, without straining your budget. Every single grocery trip, buy just 2 or 3 extra items of the cheap, long-lasting basics. A bag of rice, a few cans of beans and tomatoes, oats, salt, pasta, peanut butter. Within a few months, you will have several weeks of simple food on your shelves, gathered a couple of dollars at a time. Then use the rule the grandmothers live by. First in, first out. New cans go to the back, old ones come to the front, so nothing ever expires and nothing is ever wasted. Buying staples in bigger bags when they are on sale also costs less per pound, so the pantry actually saves money while it builds your calm. One honest note. If you ever take up home canning the way the elders do, learn it properly from a trusted modern source, because preserving food, especially meats and low-acid vegetables, must be done correctly to be safe. The old folks are masters of it, and masters always respect the rules. Now, the eighth secret might be the hardest one for modern people to accept, because it is about doing something we have almost forgotten how to do, which is nothing at all. The eighth secret is that they work hard, and then they truly stop. Mountain life is real work, no question. But watch the old folks closely, and you will notice something that we have lost. When the day's work is done, it is done. The tools are hung up, the door of the workshop closes, and the evening belongs to rest. And one day a week, often Sunday, almost no work happens at all. A long meal, a slow walk, visiting. Sitting on the porch watching the weather move across the valley. They do not call it self-care, and they do not feel 1 ounce of guilt about it. They call it Sunday. Meanwhile, we carry our work home in our pockets and answer messages from the supper table, and we wonder why our minds never feel finished. The wisdom here is simple and hard. Rest only restores you if it has a fence around it, so build the fence. Pick a time in the evening, say 8 o'clock, when the workday officially ends in your home. Whatever is not done by then waits for tomorrow, and tomorrow it will still be there. Just as the elders say, the mountain will still be there. And pick one day or even one half day each week where you do no chores, no errands, no catching up. At first it feels strange, almost itchy. By the third week you will start guarding that day like a treasure. Here is the porch trick that goes with it. The old folks end many days just sitting outside for a few minutes, watching the sky change, saying very little. Try it. 10 minutes on the porch, the steps, or by an open window at dusk, with nothing in your hands. It costs nothing, and it lowers the day down gently, the way you would set down something heavy and precious. And while we are outside, the ninth secret is waiting out there too, in any weather, and it may be the single best thing the mountain people do for both body and mind. The ninth secret is the daily walk. In every weather, dressed the old way. The mountain elders walk every single day of their lives, not for exercise, but because life demands it. To the barn, to the spring, to the woodpile, to a neighbor's place down the track. Rain, snow, wind, it does not matter, because they have an old saying you may have heard. There is no bad weather, only bad clothing. And their clothing wisdom is worth real money to you. They dress in layers of wool, wool socks, wool sweaters, wool caps. Why wool? Because wool keeps you warm even when it gets damp, it breathes so you do not get clammy, and it lasts for decades if you care for it. One good wool sweater from a thrift store, often just a few dollars if you check the labels, outperforms most fancy synthetic jackets that cost 20 times more. So here is the habit to copy: one walk a day, outside, no matter the sky. It does not need to be long. 20 or 30 minutes around your neighborhood does the job. Walking every day keeps your legs strong, your balance steady, your heart working, and your mood lifted, and doctors will tell you that daily walking is one of the most powerful health habits there is, especially as we get older. But the weather part matters too. A little cold on your cheeks, a little wind, a little drizzle, wakes the body up and hardens the spirit in the best way. The old folks come back in from the weather glowing, stamp their boots, and that first step back into the warm room feels like a reward you cannot buy. Comfort means nothing without a little contrast. Here is the extra trick. Walk at the same time each day so it becomes as automatic as breakfast, and if you can, walk right after a meal, the way the old farmers do, because a gentle walk after eating helps the body settle. Now, the 10th secret is not something they do, it is something they do not do, and once you see it, you will notice its absence everywhere in modern life. The 10th secret is silence, and being completely at home in it. Sit in a mountain kitchen in the evening and you will hear the fire crack, the wind under the eaves, the click of knitting needles, a dog sighing on the floor. What you will not hear is the constant layer of noise we have wrapped around our entire lives. No television talking to an empty room, no radio filling every silence in the car, no little speaker chattering on the counter. The old folks can sit together for an hour, saying almost nothing, and feel perfectly content. We have become almost afraid of quiet, and that fear costs us dearly, because a mind that is never in silence is a mind that never gets to settle, like water that is never allowed to go still and clear. Here is how you take silence back, a little at a time, because going cold turkey is too much for most of us. Start with the car, one drive a day with the radio off, just the road and your own thoughts. Then claim 1 hour in the evening, no television, no videos, no background, anything. Fill it with the quiet things from this very video: the mending basket, the warm cup, the knitting, a real paper book, or honest conversation. The first few days, the silence feels loud. Give it a week and something shifts. Your thoughts finish themselves. Old memories surface gently. Ideas arrive. People sleep better on quiet evenings, and many find that worries shrink back down to their true size when they are finally given room to be heard and then let go. The elders say the quiet is where a person meets himself, and they say it like it is a good meeting. And now, friend, you have climbed almost to the top of the mountain with me, because it is time for the secret I promised you at the very beginning, the one the old folks guard most closely, the evening rule that costs nothing and beats everything we buy in bottles and boxes. Here it is, the star secret. The old mountain folk call it by different names, but I call it the sundown rule, and it works like this. When the sun goes down, the day is over, not just the work. The whole day, the worries, the arguments, the unfinished business, all of it gets set down at sundown the way you set down an axe at the end of a job, because the elders hold a simple belief: You cannot chop wood in the dark, and you cannot fix problems at night either. You can only chew on them, and chewing on them is what steals your sleep and your peace. So after sundown, the mountain home shifts into a different world. The big lamps go low. The fire or a candle becomes the main light in the room. Voices get softer. Hands pick up small, gentle work. Knitting, whittling, shelling beans, oiling a boot. Someone might tell a story. Someone might read aloud. And if a worry tries to climb onto the table, the old folks have a phrase for it that you should steal word for word. That is a tomorrow problem. They say it out loud, calm as you please, and they mean it. The problem is not ignored. It is scheduled. Tomorrow in daylight, with a rested mind, it will be handled. Tonight it has no seat at this table. Now here is exactly how you run the sundown rule in a modern home, step by step. Step 1. Pick your sundown. It does not have to be the real sunset, especially in summer. Pick a fixed evening hour, say 9 o'clock. Step 2. At that hour, walk through your home and dim it. Overhead lights off, 1 or 2 warm lamps on, or even a candle on the table if you enjoy that. Just never leave a flame unattended. The old folks are strict about that, and so should you be. Step 3. Screens go dark and stay dark. The phone gets parked in another room, on a shelf, plugged in, face down, out of reach. Step 4. Give your hands something small and quiet to do. Any of the crafts and chores from this video will serve. Step 5. Keep a little notepad on the table, and when a worry shows up, write it down in one short line and say the words, "That is a tomorrow problem." The writing matters because once it is on paper, your mind stops gripping it. Why does this work so well? Because every piece of it pushes the body the same direction. Dim, warm light tells your inner clock that night has truly come. Quiet hands burn off the last of the day's tension. The parked phone removes the endless stream of alarm and argument that keeps a brain on guard duty, and the notepad gives every worry a place to wait that is not inside your head. People spend fortunes on sleep aids and relaxation gadgets, chasing exactly this feeling, and the mountain elders manufacture it every single night with a lamp, a lap full of wool, and one firm sentence. Try the sundown rule for 7 nights in a row. Not one night 7, because the first 2 nights feel odd and the magic shows up around night 3 or 4. Many people say it is the closest thing to turning back the clock 50 years that they have ever felt. So let us stand at the top of the mountain and look back at the trail we just climbed. The old folks rise with the light and dim the evening. They give the first hour to their hands, not their screens. They stop everything for a warm cup held in both hands. They heat one room and gather the family inside it, and the heating bill thanks them. They keep one simple pot going and waste nothing, not even the onion skins. They mend what breaks and find their calm in the mending. They build a pantry 2 cans at a time and sleep easy through any storm. They work hard and then truly stop, with a fence around their rest. They walk every day in every weather, wrapped in honest wool. They keep company with silence until it feels like a friend. And when the sun goes down, they lay the whole day down with it. Look at that list again. There is not one thing on it you cannot do, and there is not one thing on it that costs more than pocket change. That is the part that gets me every time. We have more money, more machines, and more convenience than any generation in human history, and we lie awake at night. They have a woodpile, a soup pot, a basket of mending, and an early bedtime, and they have the very peace we are all chasing. They do not have everything, but somehow, with almost nothing, they know something that we, with everything, forgot. The good news is that knowledge is not gone. It is sitting right here, in this video, in your memory of your own grandparents, in your 2 hands. Pick one secret tonight, just one. Maybe the warm cup, maybe the sundown rule. Do it for a week and feel what happens. And one small, honest reminder before we part, these old ways are powerful helpers for everyday stress and restless nights, but if you are dealing with serious sleeplessness, anxiety, or health trouble, talk to your doctor too. The elders themselves respect the healer when the matter is serious. Now I want to hear from you, because this knowledge lives in families like yours. Did your parents or grandparents keep any of these habits? The one warm room, the Sunday rest, the mending basket, the early nights? Tell me about it in the comments, and tell me where in the world you are watching from, because folks from every corner of the map gather around this fire, and your memory might be the exact piece of wisdom someone else needs to read tonight. If this video brought back something good, share it with someone who grew up the old way, and come back soon, because there is so much more of this forgotten knowledge to bring down from the mountain, and I will keep climbing up there to get it, as long as you keep gathering here to receive it. Until then, keep the fire low, keep your hands busy, and let the sun take the day's worries down with it. Good night, friend.